I'm a mixed-race Briton, born to Welsh and Chinese parents in London. Growing up, there were very few mixed-race people around me, and the feeling of not being part of a majority group often led to thoughts about my identity and whether I really fitted in. As we grow up, many of us find new groups to identify with, and the associations of youth can be added to by newer and sometimes more diverse connections. Certainly as an adult living in London, I feel no need for a belonging based on appearance, language or culture like I did in my youth. But while there might be a greater sense of positive mixed-race relations now than ever before, at least in the UK, who's to say the feelings of the mixed-race child of tomorrow will be less confusing than they were when I was growing up in the 80s? Of course there should have been progress, but just because there are greater numbers of mixed people, it doesn't mean their own feelings, nor the attitudes of those they encounter, are always harmonious. In this series, I talk to mixed-race people, mixed couples, and others who wish to discuss the wider subject of mixed heritage, ethnicity, and identity. If it serves as a reference for people in the same or similar predicament as I was, and to a degree still am, maybe we can understand mixed-race people, and perhaps each other, a bit better in the future. Why do you think that you like dark skin, or you like having dark skin, even though you know that your sister suffered more prejudice because of it?
Well, I think it links me more strongly to my Iranian side. I think it's difficult. I think it's nicer. Maybe it would be more obvious, the mixture, that I was mixed if I had darker skin. Sometimes I merge into the background because I'm quite pale. People don't realise. You notice, don't you, all different where people are from. You look at people in London, everyone is from somewhere else. That's great. But maybe it's the identity, it's an attachment to my Iranian identity. Maybe I'm more distant from that side. The French side is easier to reach, it's closer geographically, and I go there more often. The Iranian side is harder to keep hold of, and when Iranians stop me and say, "Oh, you are Iranian," I like that, because I don't see it, but I think it's great that it can be seen. I think that's great that people notice it. I think, oh yes, I still, there is something there, even though that part of me is a bit further away, I still have that, Yeah, I like that. I know that when we were growing up, my sister always used to get asked, "Where are you from really?" Because we're both British, and when I was little, I wasn't like, I'm French-Iranian like I am now, but I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be like everyone else. With kids, you want to be like everyone else, and I'm pale, so I always just looked like maybe I could be Spanish or something. People always think Turkish, but my sister has brown skin. Her skin is much browner than mine, so she looks like she's from somewhere else. And people ask her, "Where are you from? Where are you really from?" She really dislikes this question. Where are you really from? I never had this growing up, because my skin was lighter. Even like, I don't know if it's relevant, but going to France, my sister's bag always gets stopped. Always. And my sister said, "Oh, it's coincidence." But I remember last year we swapped bags. I said, "You're getting stopped because you're browner. I want to see if I get stopped." And again, what happened? She got stopped with my bag. And I said, "You see? It's because of the colour of your skin that you're getting stopped." I always wanted to be brown, to have her brown skin. I always wanted to have this beautiful brown skin, so it's, I don't know. I always wanted to be brown. But yeah, I still want to be still in the sun, like, oh, look, my skin is so nice and brown, look how brown I can be, you know. I remember in Mexico, I went to the beach. The first time I went to the beach, I was so brown. I came back and I was like, I'm so brown, my skin is so nice. And I was like, oh, I'm so brown, I'm so great, I'm so brown. And this guy stopped me in the street and he said, "Güerita!" Just like, you know, it's not an insult, but it's like white girl, you know. He was just calling me, he wasn't saying anything about my race, but he called me güerita. And I turned around to him and I said, "No soy güerita, soy morena." Which was ridiculous. In Mexico I was so ridiculous, you know, because I was obviously still pale, you know. But I was so pleased with my brown skin and so angry at this guy for calling me white, you know. I'll never forget that. And I came home and I told Chris and he just laughed at me.
This paleness that she hates that much is, I love it, you know. So that was the thing that it really, the first thing that attracted me, the color of her skin. It was so pale. I said, "Oh my God, I love this pale skin."
I'd be like, "Morena!"
Yeah.
Because this is not common in Mexico. This.
I mean, yeah, it might be one of the reasons. Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Well, it's the same, isn't it? Same reason that I think that brown skin is so nice.
Yeah.
I always put other mixture because I don't think I'm English. I wouldn't consider myself English. I guess no, never. British? No, I'm not. I don't know. I feel more British when I go somewhere else. When I went to Mexico, first time I ever felt British in my life. Now you know, maybe I feel more British because British it's everything, isn't it? It's a big mixture. But I've never said I was English. Being English is it's English parents, isn't it? That's what it feels like. Being in English is Anglo-Saxon, you know? English parents, that's what it feels like. British is more, can be born here but be a mixture.
So how did that translate in a place like Mexico when you say that you're French-Iranian and then they must think that you either come from France or Iran?
Well, that must be why I started to feel more British, because I just thought it's easier to just tell them that I'm British. And often they used to say, inglesa. So no, I'm not English, I'm British. So, you know.
No, but I think at the end you used to say, I mean, because it was the easiest. Yeah, so
yeah, just
at the end,
inglesa.
because I remember you lots of times just saying inglesa, you know,
Yeah,
because it was just
easier.
Because I mean, there's lots of people they don't really know.
Yeah, it's true.
What's the difference between English and British? You know, sometimes it's like it's not the same thing. You know, like.
So not to get into it.
Yeah.
English. It's just
yeah, because it was like, hey, I'm British, but from where? From what city? London. But it's not London and England, you know. It's like it just creates like a whole conversation about it. So
yeah, if you don't want to get into it, it's true. At the end, I used to just say English. You're right. But I never used to think. I never used to feel English. I used to just say it to be, you know, like. At college. Quite a mixed college, very Asian, a lot of Asians. And I remember me and a friend of mine thinking, we're screwed because we really fancied loads of like Pakistani guys or Muslim guys, but that's never going to work out. They're never going to go out with a white girl. Do you know what I mean? And in that context, we were white girls in college. I was a white girl because everyone else was Asian, you know, from mostly Pakistan, some Indians. Well, it was a mixture. But I remember that we were in a situation because we both fancied a lot of Asian guys around us, and that was never going to work both ways.
The friends that you have, are they all from the same ethnic group?
No, not at all. All from different groups. Yeah, definitely. Big mixture. nothing specific, no preferences.
Do you think that your background makes you a lot more open-minded?
Definitely. It definitely makes me more open-minded. But you kind of have to be, don't you? It's this thing, you have two cultures, so already you're more open-minded than if you had just one. And then living in Britain, this is a third culture, it's different from the other two I had at home. So definitely more open-minded, easily. I think I feel more French because I speak French. I don't speak Farsi. I've never been to Iran. But it doesn't mean I don't feel Iranian. I do feel Iranian, but I know more about my French background. I know my French family more. I speak the language, you know. I know more about the culture than Iranian culture because I've never been there. And I don't see my Iranian cousins much. I've met my Iranian grandma once in my life. My French grandma, I saw her twice, 3 times a year, always. So I guess I know more about that side of me. But it doesn't mean that I don't feel Iranian. My grandma used to tell me off, well, she used to tell my dad off because I speak more Urdu than Farsi. Because, you know, I have loads of friends from Pakistan or Pakistani background. I know loads of Urdu. Why do I know more Urdu than Farsi? It's not normal. And I would like to. I like languages. I like to be able to speak other people's languages. I like to not have to always speak English to people, you know. Yeah. But I can't speak my own. I can't speak Farsi. I would love to go to Iran. I think I will go one day. It's a bit complicated because I have an Iranian name. And so I need an Iranian passport. I need to go. It's a big part of me, so I need to go and see.